Well, you can blame it on my mother. She used to take us to the beach, us kids, and anybody else who wanted to come. We would go to Waikiki or Kalavai and spend most of the day. The mothers of all these small kids would join us, and so the older people, the mothers, would have gossip sessions while they were cleaning the limu, which the kids were running in and out of the water getting, having been taught by mothers what to look for and so on.
I think what allowed her to become such a proficient botanist is that she learned many of the Hawaiian names for species from her mother. And so I think that helped a transition into the sciences that was not as intimidating as it might have been if she didn't have the Hawaiian names for species. She was fascinated by being able to match the scientific names with the Hawaiian names, and that's what opened the door for her in her education at the University of Hawaii. She and Don both finished their PhDs at UC Berkeley, he in zoology, she in botany. About at the same time, he was offered 6 jobs that led to him selecting Stanford's Marine Station in the Pacific Grove area. And from there, they spent about 33 years working and living and working side by side at the Marine Station, doing their research and both winning teaching awards through their undergraduate education and dedication to that. But by about 1983, Don said, "I think we can retire early. Let's go home."
He said, "We've been here for over 30 years, and I think we could take early retirement, so we ought to go back to Hawaii. What do you think?" Well, I had my bags half packed within days, as it were. I was delighted to come back to Hawaii, and he was too.
And with that started this cycle of initially teaching in the fall and then eventually coming into full residence as a faculty member in the botany department, holding the endowed chair, the Wilder Professorship. In that era, she taught about 1,000 students in ethnobotany. And as she came full-time into the department, started a career of publishing that equaled her career in publishing as a scientific expert for the California algal work that she did. So we have a kind of 2-phase career for her.
As a fellow plant taxonomist, I guess I'm most familiar with her work as a taxonomist. And it's certainly, as you know from her record, she's one of the world's experts on algae of the Pacific, publishing over 160 papers, which is a stunning achievement in itself, and then publishing 8 books. Those books and those papers were some of the most important works that have been published on algae of the Pacific.
This was a life of a person who was just fascinated by the opportunities that her science, her Western science, allowed, and worked very hard to bring the appreciation for the Hawaiian culture and its science to that same level. Because of course, to be a Hawaiian would, in her mind, meant that you were already a scientist. Okay? It's not 2 things, you were already a scientist.
The impact that she obviously had on Native Hawaiians, as well as just other people of Hawaii and the Pacific, in terms of her knowledge of cultural practices, in combination with her excellence as a scientist, which was recognized at not only the Hawaii level, but nationally and internationally as well. I think she just served as a very important role model, and not just for Native Hawaiians, but for everyone. You know, anyone interested in accomplishing anything in their life could simply look at Dr. Abbott and have an excellent role model, just because she worked so hard and was so passionate about everything she did. You know, what a huge legacy. Yeah.
3 different things that I realized she practiced in her career. One is kuleana, responsibility to do to her community, which she viewed in part the Western science community, but also in part the Hawaiian community, who she wanted to embrace at every level. The second thing that I learned from her is how to bring people along. This is a process called ho'omalimali. This is the Irish equivalent would be to use your gift of gab, to just talk to people and have them realize the perspective that you have. Carry them along, ho'omalimali. And the third really is to do the right thing, to do what's needed. As a leader, she had the responsibility to bring people along to do the right thing. And so I think those really summarize her career.